All right, here we go. Question number 3 from our 0314 homework number 5 in MyLab Math. And the instructions say subtract. So whether you're adding or subtracting rational expressions, you have to have a common denominator. And if any of the denominators will factor, you have to factor them first. So the first denominator we notice is a standard trinomial. And so we're going to need to factor that as we would a standard trinomial. We start with our parentheses, and then we read the signs. When the last sign is plus, you have to look at the first one to see what they both are. So these are both going to be minus, and then we can fill in the blanks. W times W makes W squared. And then what about numbers that multiply to make 10 that add and make -7? Well, I'm thinking 5 and 2. 5 times 2 is 10. -5 and -2 make -7. So that's all left up, all factored up. Now let's look at this other denominator. We have another standard trinomial. So we're going to have parentheses. We're going to read the signs. Here, these are also both going to be minus, and we're going to fill in the blanks. W times W. And then what about numbers that multiply to make 15 that also add and make -8? Well, I'm thinking this time 3 and 5. 5 times 3 is 15. -5 and -3 is -8. Isn't it great? We effed it up, factored it up, and now what we need to do is find a common denominator. Okay, so do you see that both of these denominators have a W minus 5? So they have that in common already. But what the first denominator is missing that the second one has is a W minus 3. All right, so he needs a W minus 3. If I give it to the bottom, I have to give it to the top. And then the second denominator is missing the W minus 2 in the first one. So he needs a W minus 2. If I give it to the bottom, I got to give it to the top. And now if you take a look at both denominators here and here, you'll see that they have exactly the same stuff. And so now we can put these two fractions together, okay? So we're going to have our common denominator, W minus 5, W minus 3, W minus 2. And if you're wondering, does it matter what order I put those in? It doesn't. You can put those in any order. Next, we're going to need to use the distributive property. 3W times W is 3W squared. 3W times -3 is -9W. And then we have to be careful because this time we have subtraction. And so the way that I like to handle this is I'm going to take this minus and I'm going to directly attach it to the 2W when I distribute. That's going to help me remember to change the signs, okay? So when there's a minus in the middle, when you're doing subtraction with fractions, that negative has to distribute to everybody in the numerator. Here we go. -2W times W is a minus 2W squared. -2 times -2, that makes a plus 4W. And now that we have the numerator all multiplied out, we can combine like terms, okay? 3W squared minus 2W squared, that's just going to be W squared. -9W plus 4W, that's a -5W, all over the common denominator, which I'm too lazy to write. So just copy and paste all of that stuff down here, okay? And that should be done. Now, let's see if we're right, okay? We're going to have W squared minus 5W all over, parentheses, W minus 5, W minus 3, and W minus 2. And fingers crossed. Oh, yeah, I screwed something up. I wonder what I screwed up. W squared minus 5W, W minus 5, W minus 3, W minus 2. The difference is, and simplify. Oh, I didn't simplify my answer. OMG. I didn't simplify. All right, so let's scroll down and look at what I screwed up here. I want you to focus on the two terms in the numerator and notice that they both have a W. So what I should have done to try to simplify further is factor the numerator. Factoring out a W gives me W minus 5. And then if I put that all over the common denominator, W minus 5, W minus 3, and W minus 2, you're going to see that we do have a common factor. That means that my answer over here was not simplified completely. And so that's what I need to fix, okay? So we're going to go back, and take out the W minus 5 and the W and the squared. All right, so now let's see. Whoops, I almost screwed it up again. That should be just W. Bam. All right, so I'm going to leave that the way it is to illustrate that if you screw something up, sometimes if you read the instructions, like it said, simplify your answer, that might give you a clue as to maybe you didn't make a mistake, maybe you just didn't go far enough, okay? So I hope all of that was helpful. I hope me screwing it up was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.